Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of April 21st. First order of business is the minutes from last meeting.
Did Matt send those out?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Second?
Okay, any discussion on that? Having none. Let's vote on that.
Aye.
Aye.
Abe?
Aye.
Aye as well, that's unanimous. Okay, there are no 81Ps today. The site plan application for 225 West Street is going to be continued to our meeting on May 5th. So,
We have to vote on it.
okay,
Motion to continue to the May 5th meeting.
Second?
Abe?
Aye.
Okay, aye as well.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. And we have an amendment to the site plan application at 31 Beaver Street. And what's that entail, Elizabeth?
So on the first page, you'll see the propane storage on the bottom middle of the 11 by 17. You'll see
So it's 4 1,000 gallon tanks?
Where is it, Elizabeth? This is 31 Beaver Street, right behind.
I'm sorry, the propane.
Oh, so if you go to the next page, you can see the whole site. And this is actually something I think we should just talk about a little bit. These retaining walls on either side of the driveway at the crossing have collapsed.
Oh.
I would say at least a month ago, probably more. And they still have not approached me with any sort of proposed fix. I don't know if they intend on trying to put them back up the way that they were in the beginning, but I don't know how they can do that because it's all paved. There's water main in there. So
Is that stone, Liz? I don't remember.
it was block, like the large blocks, not like a Versalock, like I don't know, at least 3 by 2.
How the heck did that collapse?
Yeah.
They, it's over 4 feet, so they submitted a,
I went and I talked to John about it. They hadn't pulled a permit for it. He told them that when they go to fix it, they obviously are going to need to pull a permit for it.
yeah, they're gonna, yeah. That should come from whoever stamped it originally with whatever they consider to be a repair, quote,
Right.
procedure.
And that's,
hold.
and I told them I wanted to meet with the structural on site so that I could understand why it fell, so that I can feel comfortable that it's not going to fall again.
Well, based on that condition, I would say we need to, because there's always this thing about occupancy or not. My feeling is they cannot get an occupancy permit until they have a repair that's, because this is a safety issue to me with cars driving in. So I don't know what John's feeling is or not, but to me, the planning board should have a feeling that you don't get in until we have a plan from the structural engineer that designed it and have them complete that work, because with it being that way, with the cars going over it,
Yep.
that's just not a safe situation.
Yeah, I think that's his intention. That was part of the, John wanted when you have a wall over 4 feet in height and you have a building permit, you need a structural engineer to sign off on the construction of it.
Yep.
So that, I do believe is his intention. But for the,
I,
go ahead, babe.
I'd like to make a suggestion. I'd like to make a suggestion as part of the move, when we moved on this, is that they have a geotech, give the building department support, a report, because if those big blocks fell, is definitely a structural problem underneath, which I would say only a geotech would be able to. That's my opinion.
Yeah, depending on what happened, if they rotated, it's because of soil conditions. I don't, again, we probably don't even know how it was constructed, so I mean, it could be they constructed it crappily, in which case it wasn't a geotechnical failure, or it could be that they've got settlement, uneven settlement, and it's rotating the blocks. So without knowing that.
And that was generally why I wanted to be out there to talk to the structural engineer and, or whether it be structural or geotechnical, one or the other, to just get a better understanding.
It could have been the backfill, the weight of the backfill on it just could be that serious that it pushed it over.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Again, that's for a specialist to look at.
it definitely looked, even the portion of the wall that didn't fall over is still like leaning outward, so it,
How tall are they? I don't even remember what we had. There's some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, it's sort of definitely a considerable height.
It looks like it could be 8 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be 10.
I mean, I don't know what the. Were they the ones that were filled in the middle, or are they
No,
just blocks on top of each other?
yeah, they had,
That's,
they had the triangle in the middle that locks them.
yeah, for them to fall outwardly, because they should be, they got to be stacked backwards on each other, so it's not a straight face. That's a pretty good tip.
They said that there was some sort, I didn't look at the, because we did get, the planning board got plans before you approved it.
Yep.
I didn't look at it to see if there was fabric, but I would assume there was. So I don't know if the fabric maybe wasn't properly connected to the blocks, because
Yeah.
it's not like, it didn't tear the fabric. I know that. The blocks.
Usually, with that, it's usually like a geogrid. I mean, it's usually a plastic, or, not that it's real thick, but they're relatively, and then you stick, you'll stick the some sort of pipe or whatever in between the walls where they do them to hold the geogrid back and then into the backfill. But I don't remember what these were, so. But I mean, that's still a pretty good, just with the face being back, each one, that's a pretty good move to have it tip over, especially if it's not just the top unit across, it's the whole thing. That's a,
Yeah,
But-
maybe the first 1 or 2 courses, but I'm not even really sure about that.
so anyways, the propane is going in the southern face. What do you got, babe?
Well, again, going back, to get off the wall, again, it could have been this, the side pushing in. Also on the bottom, if they just put 3/4 inch stone on top of it without putting a good stable base under. I put this stuff in unstable areas, but I've dug down and put 2-3 feet of riprap to make a solid base to put the 3/4 inch crushed stone on top of it.
And that was,
This is,
that was one of the things that was brought up, is this is a wetland, and there's quite a bit of water. It's not just, so freeze thaw, if they didn't if they didn't have a good foundation to it.
They should be, I mean, with their base, they should have been below the freeze level with the base, with whatever they were, the stone, they should have. Well, anyways, yeah, we need to get a report on
Yeah,
it.
I guess the other reason I wanted to bring it up is I didn't know if you wanted to, I don't know if you can, but I didn't know if you wanted to,
Well, in this case, yeah, we can. I know what you're going to say. I mean, I
Yeah,
believe we
I was
can
going down that path
because
in
they
my
have no
mind
way of
also.
heating this as far as I know. So it's going to be tough to run a place with no heat on it. So if we don't approve this, then they've got no way forward. So I think we can do it based on, I'll approve the propane tanks. However, they need to provide us with a report from a geotechnical engineer as to the reason for the failure, and also the geotechnical and structural engineer to indicate a method of repair, and that no occupancy permit can be issued until such time as the walls are completed and accepted by a structural engineer.
So you're not comfortable making the propane contingent on?
Yeah, I'm approving it subject to them
Okay.
doing everything else that I just said.
Is that a motion?
well,
make it
don't, we have letters to read first.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So we have a letter from the Milford Water Company.
Do you want, do you want Matt's letter?
Well, the Milford Water Department looks like they see no issue. They're approving as submitted. What does
Yeah.
Matt
So
say?
the town planner wrote, the applicant requests an amendment to the site plan review to add exterior propane storage to the approved use known as Slick City at 31 Beaver Street in Milford. The exterior propane storage does not take up any of the approved parking spaces, but may have an impact on the approved landscape plan. There is one red maple planting in the southwest corner of the parking lot that may need to be relocated so the propane connection line can be established. Some regrading of the slope is required, and the board may want to consider a more stable slope for the southern part of the tank.
That seems like a good idea.
That looks like a 3-to-1 slope. Tank. Matt recommends the appropriate safety measures are installed as cars will be parked perpendicular to the proposed tank. Otherwise, this work is within the buffer zone and may require an amendment to the approved order of conditions from the Conservation Commission. I would recommend the planning board withhold its vote of approval until action is taken by the Conservation Commission. Therefore, I recommend continuance. It's his recommendation, be requested of the applicant for this project until such time that the action is taken by the Conservation Commission. If the board is ready to proceed, I recommend conditional approval, subject to abiding by approvals and comments from state agencies, town boards, departments, and commissions.
Okay, so
Sounds like there's a number of things that have to
So
be conditioned.
on behalf of the Conservation Commission, I can tell you that that's not going to be, that's not enough to require, an amendment to the order of conditions. They're still outside of the 25-foot. It's a 3-to-1 slope as opposed to a 2-to-1 slope where it is, it's a 2-to-1 on the rest of the area, so I'm not concerned with the slope on that part of it. So from the Conservation Commission side, I would say this is, can be a field change.
So it would not need to be presented to the commission?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the only, yeah.
So then the fire department has some questions?
Do you want me to read that?
Yes, please.
This is from the fire department. The applicant seeks to install 4 1,000-gallon propane tanks. This storage capacity will require approval from the Select Board for a license in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 148, and a permit from the fire department. Provided a license is approved, the fire department will inspect the installation and issue a storage permit. The installation shall meet all requirements of MGL Chapter 148, Massachusetts Comprehensive Fire Safety Regulation 527, CMR 1.0, and National Fire Protection Association Liquefied Petroleum Gas Code, NFPA 58. I recommend the completion of the site work to provide a level pad for the installation if the town engineer and Conservation Commission agree. They do. The tanks shall be locked and enclosed or fenced. It does not show a fence right now. Minimum 6 feet high, industrial chain link or similar in accordance with NFPA 58. Vehicle barrier protection shall be installed by utilizing any of the following: guardrails, steel bollards, adequately spaced jersey barriers. I recommend substantial vehicle protection barrier because the tanks will be in close proximity to parking stalls. Please contact me for assistance with any questions. Mark Nelson.
So this is quite a lot, and we don't have the applicant here to go over this
I'm gonna check
with them.
the engineer was supposed to be joining the Zoom.
You're making sure he's not participating remotely?
Yep. No.
So he is there, so.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of important pieces and parts to this that are unresolved and important. I think I said that already. There, he's up on the screen.
Hi.
Hi, Adam, sorry about that.
That's okay. I was joined, but I guess in another way, and it just had to reconnect. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Sorry, I couldn't quite hear what the question before.
All right, so well, I guess one of the things that the fire department brought up was that it needs to be fenced in.
Okay.
Minimum
Okay.
6 feet high, industrial chain link or similar. And I don't see that on the plans.
Okay.
So, yeah, we would need to see that added with a detail.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we can get that revised.
And
Dale and the chain link fence.
And the vehicle protection?
So the vehicle protection barrier, I do see you have the bollards, and they seem to be, that's the little dots. And they seem to be very closely spaced, so
Yep.
I'm guessing that's adequate, but we do need a detail for
Okay.
those.
Bollards all the way around, Liz?
Yeah,
What do we need, bollards on the back slope side?
we don't.
I mean,
Those
I
are
would- I would-
ball-
I would say you need bollards along the face and go 10 feet beyond them on either side, and that's it. I mean, I don't,
And no side back. Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion, and then obviously the board may have, other members of the board may have, but I don't see a reason to bring them down the sides either. I mean, we're in a, the less that's in that slope, the better off we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What size are those bollards?
We don't have a detail, babe, we need a detail
I
of,
don't have a detail.
Minimum, a minimum of 6 inches.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Thank
also,
you.
I would run that by the fire department, the fire chief too,
Okay.
just to make sure that that's what the spacing is.
well, he doesn't, I don't think he's had it before, I would just do 5 feet on center.
Okay. 5 feet on center and minimum 6 inch. And then, did you hear the discussion about the retaining wall?
I think I just came in towards the end of that.
So the board's motion is very likely going to include,
I think based on where we are, I think I wouldn't make that as a motion, I would do it as a continuance, but I would
Okay.
obviously, over the next 2 weeks, have them be aware so that when they come in 2 weeks, I don't expect them to have to report, but at least say how they're going to address it. But we had issues about doing this until we see a report from structural and a geotechnical engineer as to the reasons for the collapse of the wall and what the concept is going to be to repair, replace, whatever, that wall, and that no occupancy permit would be issued until such time as the wall has been approved by the structural engineer of record.
Okay.
But I think based on the changes that we're seeing right now, we should continue it, have them come back with a plan that at least addresses all the fire department's issues as we pointed out, and then at least be able to address to us how they're going to handle the wall situation, and then we could make the motion subject to getting the final reports from the structural and geotechnical engineer.
Well, compared to those issues, it's minor. We'd want to obviously see where they're relocating the red maple. But again, compared to all the structural issues, it's not insignificant.
no, but it should, right, it should be shown on the
Yeah.
plan. Especially one of these is the landscaping.
Okay, anything else? Do you have a motion?
Motion, we continue until the first meeting in May.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, not having no discussion. Let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Babe?
Aye.
Aye as well? To be continued to May.
Adam, you can come in and talk to Liz if you want a more detailed discussion of the wall situation, but
Okay.
I would suggest you probably do that.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. As far as the zoning bylaw amendments, any further discussion on that this meeting?
Well, these are the ones, I don't know if the rest of the board is aware, we won't be going forward at town meeting on these because of, town council indicated that our meeting when we took the vote was not, we should not have done that.
Because, so,
According to, I believe it's according to state law.
yeah, correct.
Why?
So,
Understand that.
because it was election night, there's, you know,
Public hearing issue?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that
I was,
that
okay.
that you didn't even vote. It has to do with the fact that we had a public meeting on election night is what it amounted to. So I guess we need to evaluate that going forward too.
Do you mean public meeting or public hearing?
Public
Public hearing.
Hearing, yes.
We can have a
yes, okay.
meeting, can't have a
Yes,
hearing.
but not the hearing. Okay, I'm on board with that.
Yep.
All right.
So
yeah.
anyways, I had a discussion with Matt about it. I don't know how much he talked to the other members. I said, for what those changes are,
Talk to Joe
Right.
too, yeah.
it's not worth fighting it. We'll just move it to the fall and
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
You hear all that, babe?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. No issue
I
with
wonder
that.
if that we shouldn't, because we're not the only board that holds public hearings, so maybe boards should be notified not to do that on an election?
We're
one
the
of-
Tuesday night.
Yeah, we're.
Oh, right.
I don't think anybody else is Tuesday. And
Well,
historically, we haven't done it, at least in my memory.
Yeah.
We have had meetings.
Meetings,
on-
yes, but
meeting,
not
but not a
public
hearing.
hearings.
Hearings,
Right.
yeah. And
That's right.
that's very logical. That makes good sense.
Yeah, because we'll have a packed room when we hold it before the
Yes.
fall.
Yeah.
All one person. But just as a matter of,
But yeah, so it's
I think Sue is the only other one that meets on a Tuesday night, that I'm aware of.
correct.
they probably don't do a lot of public hearings.
They don't.
All right. That's good practice. Makes sense.
Okay, anything on the planning board rules and regulations draft?
Without Matt here, I'm going to go ahead and say no.
Okay, town engineer updates?
I don't have anything that I can
Goodness.
think of off the top of my head.
Okay, chairman updates? I have none. Babe, you have anything?
No, I don't.
Anything from the members? Any updates?
Not me.
Okay. All right, then, what's the,
Move to adjourn.
Second?
okay,
Next meeting is May 5th.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Wow.
Thank you, and we'll see you on May 5th.
28.